Welcome to Astro Detectives. This is the show where we try to match our guests to their correct birth chart. As always, we have two charts to choose from, and today our guest is either a Gemini or a Pisces. I'm Scott, a skeptic of astrology, and I'm joined by my co-host and professional astrologer, Sarah Hartshorn. Sarah?
Yes.
Geminis and Pisces, how do we tell them apart?
Well, they are both what we would call mutable signs, which means they fall in the season when the season's like given to change into. So those mutable signs can be a lot more, adaptable and flexible. However, Gemini and Pisces are very different. Gemini is an air sign, and so it's a lot more about the mental plane. Geminis are related to, they like data, they like talking, they like options and different points of view. They like to gather information, and there can be something. Gemini rules the hands, so that can come up a lot. That sometimes they talk with their hands. And then our Pisces, this is a water sign. So this relates to the emotional plane. So it's a lot more about emotion and intuition. It's a very sign that is associated with spirituality and being altruistic. And they're the opposite of Virgo. Virgo is very much about the micro details, and Pisces is about the macro, like the big picture, and like very good at like, often you see Pisces like either they're very artistic or working in the arts or some sort of like humanitarian cause, or they're very good at being like project managers because they're very good at like overseeing everything and understanding how all the parts fit together. So those are kind of the differences there. Yeah.
Do you relate to one or the other? I know being a Virgo yourself, and you're like Pisces is like the opposite, but overall, are you drawn to one or the other personally?
Oh, you mean like
just that you feel like you have more of those traits?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. Actually, maybe Gemini I would be a little bit more drawn to, because Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by the planet Mercury. It's all about like data and collecting information, and and so maybe I would relate to being mercurial.
And Geminis like to explain things, right? And on this show, at least, you get to explain astrology.
Well, they like to talk, yeah.
Yeah. Well, then I'll be the Pisces this episode.
Okay.
I'm going to be very spiritual and just like feel it out, man.
Yeah.
Which is bad news if I'm trying to run the structure of the show.
Well, I think Pisces is not really about structure, but it is about oversight and seeing how everything. They are, like I said, they're very good at being high level. And yeah,
don't worry. We're going to get to the end of the episode at some point. I just don't know at all how we're going to get there.
And you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm trying to live in the Pisces right now. Now, a lot of people are going to be listening and they're going to say, yeah, those are the sun signs, but I want to go deeper than that. Can you tell us where they can find those charts and what they're looking at?
Yes. Okay. So if you want to see the charts that we're looking at today, you can go to our website, AstroDetectivesPod.com. Go to the chart section and you can grab the case files there. And you can also sign up for our Patreon, and we will send you the charts to your inbox along with, the charts that we put on our website. The information, the birth data is redacted just for the guest privacy. But if you sign up for our exclusive Patreon, we will give you that chart data. So if you want to go deeper, look at the transits, put it in your own preferred house system, or however you like to cast charts, you can do that.
We can only trust fellow detectives with this kind of classified information. Yes. So when you do become a Patreon honorary detective, we'll give you some of that data.
Classified, I like that.
So, what are the big threes or any other major placements that you're going to be looking for to help differentiate which one of these two birth dates belongs to our guest?
Okay, yeah. So our Gemini is actually a Capricorn rising, which is pretty interesting. Those are very different signs from each other. Capricorn's a lot more serious and reserved and very hardworking and achievement focused, and they have their Saturn right pretty close to their ascendant. So that's an extra dose of that Capricorn energy. And they also have their moon in Scorpio, which we love a moon in Scorpio on this show. And not only is it a moon in Scorpio, it's conjunct Pluto, which is like a double dose of that Scorpio energy. So this person may come off kind of like very kind of like reserved and kind of a little bit more serious, or kind of have an air of authority. Gemini likes that data and is very like, you know, focused on the mental plane, but deep down, that moon sign, that's a very intense Scorpio moon. So this person may have an inner side to them that is deeply private, deeply emotional, deeply passionate and intense. But so on the surface, they may be more controlled, but deep down, it might be more volcanic. So that's our Gemini, which is not, what's interesting, I just want to point out about this is Scorpio and Capricorn are signs, we say, at an inversion from Gemini. So the Scorpio and Capricorn have some things in common, but Gemini has nothing in common with either of those signs. So that makes it for a very kind of complex person. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. And then with our Pisces, this is a Sagittarius rising. So both Pisces and Sagittarius are ruled by this planet Jupiter. So Jupiter is very expansive. It's interested in exploring. It's very optimistic and idealistic. And their Jupiter is in Leo, so in the ninth house. So again, more of that exploring, travel, teaching, just very interested in getting outside their comfort zone. And they have a Taurus moon with conjunct Venus in Taurus. So those two moons are vastly opposite from each other. This is someone whose emotional life and inner self is a lot more grounded and stable and calm and tends towards peace. And they're going to be more idealistic and things like that. So very different, like a peaceful, grounded kind of, maybe more about the creature comforts, where we have a very intense Scorpio moon in the other one. So I'm really going to be focusing on their emotional world.
All right. And I'm going to be focused on this Pisces and this Gemini, two very different characters coming to the party, and basing my questions off of those. I'm trying to rebound after my loss last week. Sarah is building a new streak, just getting started. So far, so good. We haven't really discussed the records, but I guess we do that in the debrief a little bit. So you guys can go to Patreon, and it's for free. You don't even have to pay us anything. You just follow us on Patreon. We give you a debrief episode after each guest, and we kind of talk about what went right, what went wrong. They're fascinating. It's when the astrologers get to really talk more astrology.
Hey, I'm pretty happy with my record this season. I think we're 10 episodes in or something like that.
I think
maybe
we're
more.
Hold on, 11 episodes.
Okay.
And
I've missed 2. I think I'm pretty happy with that. And you've only missed 3. So
4, but yeah.
Combined, that's very impressive.
I had a 6-episode streak going, which was, it felt good. Now I know what riding that high feels like when you got a streak going, only to go crash and burn on the last episode.
It hurts.
But still, I'm going to blame it on the chart. There was some issue where the rising sign was different, and I'm going to use that as a caveat. And I'm going to complain to the judges and try and get that one scrubbed for my record.
I think people might be curious. Just let's take a moment to I want to hear how you reflect on the results so far. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that the way that we have it set up right now, knowledge of astrology is very helpful to getting it right. And I know enough that I'm able to get 6 in a row right. But
you're a skeptic of astrology. So that's what I'm getting at. Like, how do you reconcile that?
Oh, that our guests know their signs. I think that our guests, not on purpose, they inhabit their signs. They feel connected to what their sign says about them. And therefore, when you ask them questions, I think they're more likely to answer those questions from the place of a Leo or a Sagittarius or whatever they are, whatever's going on in their chart. Not because they're trying to tip us off, but because when you kind of read about yourself and it gives you a lot of things to agree with, then I think when people ask you about yourself, you'll tend to talk in those terms, especially if you're a fan of astrology. And so for this season, it's been fun because we've got a lot of people who know astrology, who like it, and it gives us the opportunity, even the skeptics, to use that to try and guess their sign, and be more likely to get it right if we know what that sign means.
I would argue not all of our guests are that astrologically literate.
Yeah, way more than previous seasons.
Some are very knowledgeable. Like our guest today is, I believe, an astrocartographer, which I'm very excited about.
Almost all of our guests this season are coming from the same subreddit, which at some point we should probably plug, just because I'm so thankful that they all just totally jumped on board and were so helpful. We don't use bad language we do on this podcast. It's called Let's Fuck with Astrology, and it's a fun group of people who they take it seriously, but I think there's also a lightness to it to say, sure, let's go on a podcast.
Well, I would argue that I don't necessarily think that that's what the advantage is. In my personal opinion, I think it is all thanks to this program that our wonderful friend Mikey created for us that I kind of dreamed up because I was I just want the computer to select 2 very different charts. So we're getting 2 different energies coming forward. And it takes that pressure off you to try and figure it out too. But that was I feel like my issue in the first 2 seasons is sometimes we would get, some of the same energy repeated in both charts. This system we created tries to prevent that.
Which is informative in its own way, that there's so much overlap we were 95% of people that you can't differentiate between which chart belongs to them unless you find a birth date that is the exact opposite is the case that you're saying. The way to tell the 2 apart is not generally you can say, oh, I think you're this or this. You're saying, I can tell if you're the exact opposite. I can tell if you're not this one specific other birth date picked out of.
Given the constraint of doing this in 1 hour with someone over Zoom, yes, I would like the energies to be opposite. But if, I had weeks and the person was in front of me and I could really interview them about their whole life and follow their transits, I think one would still emerge in front of the other. But, so we're all about efficiency here.
Well, yeah. When we meet somebody and sometimes I'll hear an astrologer say, oh yeah, I could tell immediately that they were a Virgo. And that's where some of the little flags go up for me, because that's the thing that we started testing. And I don't think you can tell if they're a Virgo or if they're, whatever off the bat. Just like you said, we're even taking an hour here and asking very personal questions. And we're gathering information.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. Sometimes it'll seem very much oh, I thought you were Virgo. It's because we're picking up on Virgo traits, but it doesn't mean that that's the only way that you can get, the traits of Virgo are going to be very focused on details, maybe very critical and, trying to be of service. that can show up in a different configuration in another chart, having
Exactly.
Mercury in your first house
And that's where we say there's so much overlap that when people say like, oh, it's describing me, see? And we're like, well, yeah, there's a bunch of different things that could describe you in that way. Whatever your chart says, there's going to be a reason why you identify with it, kind of.
Well, at some point, I would like to have some non-astrologers back on the show. I really would.
All right. Well, that being said, our guest is in the waiting room. We shouldn't wait any longer. You guys have time to go to the website, get the charts, or if you're already a Patreon supporter, they're in your inbox. You have already got them pulled up. And we'll bring our guest in right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are now joined with our guest this week, Susan. Welcome to AstroDetectives.
Hello. Thank you all for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're very excited to have you. First things first, where are you joining us from?
I am currently outside of Philadelphia.
Outside of Philadelphia, and were you, let's see, you weren't born in Philadelphia, but also East Coast still? Have you always been
Yes, for the most part, yeah.
Cool. What kind of work do you do?
That's a little tricky right now just because I'm kind of in between things right now. But right now, it's basically a stay-at-home mom and astrology on the side.
Love it. What kind of aspects of those two do you feel especially drawn to? Like what do you love about those two roles? Or other roles that you've had in the past too? Do you notice any like consistency over them and certain duties that you really enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, really, I guess it's just being with people. I think I like getting to get to know people on a one-on-one basis. And I don't know. I mean, I think with parenting, that's very much a hands-on role with helping other people grow and develop. And then with astrology, it's kind of the same sort of thing, but looking at it from a different lens, and usually adults.
What is it like? I mean, the difference of getting to know a person who's an adult versus when you're interacting with a baby, especially. And there's this whole other communication going on with, eye contact, just the way that a baby looks at you, to me, they're just like, they can really see you. Because there's no other form of communication,
Yeah.
I don't know, can you just compare those two, or how do you feel about those?
That is a really good question, and one that I guess I haven't really thought about too much, but I don't know. I mean, I think with a baby, it's different just because, one, it's like they only really know you, especially when they're really young. And so there's very little outside influence that kind of influences like how they behave. And then and you kind of also are aware of everything that they've kind of been through too. And so, but then when it comes to meeting other people that like you've never met before, or you haven't talked to before, or you haven't really gotten to know deeply, you don't really know where they're coming from. And so there's a little bit more mystery there. You don't really know what you're going to get. And I don't know. It's just fun getting to know people.
Yeah, you try and keep in mind, like, this person's lived a whole other life that I'm not aware of. Does that make you feel more empathy towards them?
Curiosity, I guess, but there's also empathy, yeah, in if they're willing to share more about themselves. I think in general, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's a difficult one to kind of try to explain.
Interesting on your survey, which we appreciate you filling out, and listeners can check it out. The question about comfort in social situations, it was like a little bit above average, like 7 out of 10, pretty comfortable in social settings. But then when you describe your social circle, you were like more of a lone wolf, as opposed to just, I'm always like surrounded with friends and stuff.
Yeah.
How do you think about that, or those two?
Yeah, I realize that it sounds very contradictory, right? But there's this, I don't know. I mean, I think when I'm out in social settings, I really enjoy talking to people. I enjoy getting to know people. But I don't really have like a ton of really close friends. And so I guess that's where like that lone wolf rating came from, is just, I don't have like the huge friend groups that some people do, or like go hang out with like a huge group of people all the time. It's usually just one person here, one person there. Yeah.
And you, I must feel like comfortable with solitude. You appreciate it maybe a little bit more than other people do.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm definitely one of those people that needs some solitude, some quiet time, just time to myself. And so it can be very overwhelming if I'm around a lot of people all the time. And so I think it's also just easier for me to, I don't know, to really just kind of be myself, I guess, around individuals or just really small groups.
And what do you like to do in moments of solitude? Like, how do you like to spend your alone time?
It varies. I like, astrology is an interesting subject just because I feel like you can go down several different rabbit holes with that. And so if I get into that can...
Oh, we've hit a glitch.
Uh-oh.
We've frozen up.
Let's give it a
Oh, no. Let's give the internet just a moment.
Come on, internet.
Recently, it's like making wire wrap necklaces and stuff like that.
See, Susan, you froze up there for just a second. Could you repeat maybe what you just said 20 seconds ago?
Sure.
Well, let's see. What was my last question? Oh, what do you like to do in moments of solitude?
Yeah. So basically just, I don't know, reading, learning, doing different things on Googling things, learning more about astrology, but then also like crafting things. I like cooking, I like baking, and I recently have gotten into like wire wrap necklaces and stuff like that. So just little things like that.
Let's take a step back into your childhood.
Okay.
What kind of a kid were you? Like, what were your interests? What did you want to be when you grow up? That kind of thing.
So when I was a kid, I was pretty quiet and I enjoyed reading a lot. I was kind of made fun of as being a bookworm. Funny enough, like I don't really read a bunch of novels anymore. But anyway, I I did like doing arts and crafts back then too. I think I have this memory of that my sister likes to bring up a lot, where I had like a starburst that I molded into a small kitten or something one time. But yeah, just like little things like that. And yeah, so I guess not much has changed there.
And relationship with your parents, can you maybe describe them a little bit, or whoever was kind of your caretakers early in life?
Yeah. So both my parents, they were working when I was young. We always had family around, a big family. Um, I had a lot of cousins growing up around us too. And so, for the most part, though, in my immediate family, it was my parents. For a period of time, we had like uncles and aunts living with us, as well as my great grandma. Um, my grandma lived nearby too, as well as my aunt. So yeah, we just had a bunch of people.
Can you speak a little bit about your parents and maybe what they did for work, or what they kind of were good at or drawn to?
Yeah, so my dad, he's always had his own business, or he has had a partnership, and was kind of in a few different industries. Like they owned a gas station and grocery store and distribution center and that sort of thing. And so, always very work focused. And then my mom, she's kind of had a few different careers too over the time, but for the bulk of my younger years, she was a dental hygienist. And now and they've both also been into real estate as well.
Is there one? Do you relate to one of them more than the other? Not that we're not choosing favorites, but have you ever been told or felt like I'm a little bit more like this one than the other one?
Um, it's funny because I've been told, like growing up, I was nicknamed Little Karima, which was my mom's name, because I looked like her. We are far from the same in terms of personality, but in terms of like personality, I would say that I get that from my father.
Okay. Just a couple more questions, and I'll hand it over to Sarah. She's going to ask some more detailed astrology questions.
Okay.
We kind of talked about your role now, and what you liked about it. Can you speak a little bit about maybe what do you struggle with a little bit, or what do you not like about about your either previous jobs or what you're doing now?
Ooh, yeah. So previous jobs, it's interesting because it's very different from what I'm doing now. I went to school to be an engineer and did engineering for I don't know, how many years, 12 years, I guess. And I like the challenge, but I also, I don't know, toward the end, I kind of struggled with not really feeling passionate about the work that I was doing there. And that's always kind of been the issue with that. I needed a lot of diversity in terms of the things that I was working on. And I had a job for a while that satisfied those needs, but over time, it became repetitive. Now I think it's difficult just because there's a lot less free time. I think that has been a big challenge. I mean, kids, they never really stop needing you. And so that's probably the biggest challenge there.
What originally got you into engineering? You wanted diversity, and it wasn't, you find yourself doing the same thing again and again, and that was the disappointment. But what is it about engineering that excited you from the beginning?
Truthfully,
that's all we want on this show.
I didn't really know what engineering was when I got into it. I had applied to colleges. I was originally planning on trying to go to medical school, wanted to be a doctor, and I knew I wanted to go out of state. And one of the schools that I got into, they was known for engineering. Like it's an engineering school. And I really loved it when I visited. And they had like a program. It was like called the Academic Common Market, where if you signed up for one of their majors that they offered in that state, but your state didn't offer it, then you get in-state tuition. So I did that. And that's how I ended up in polymer engineering, which I knew absolutely nothing about. It was hard. I will admit that, but I don't know. I just kind of stuck with it, made it through, and then ended up doing engineering for a while.
Can you explain what polymer engineering is for lay people?
Yeah. So polymers, basically, those are all plastics. All the plastics are made of polymers, and basically, I mean, that could be applied in many different ways, but understanding mostly from like a material perspective of what the plastics do, all the different types of plastics, how they behave, how you can manufacture them, how you can use them in different products or other applications. That's essentially it. And with that, I moved more into like a product development role.
And even like during college, you're realizing what engineering is, and you still stuck it through. Can you talk about, is that something like when you encounter a hurdle like that, do you just keep pushing, or, you know, what's happening there? Even if you know, I don't want to be an engineer, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah, that was a difficult time. I'm not gonna lie. There was, I signed up for the engineering program with the intention of still doing pre-med. Freshman year, I decided, don't want to do pre-med. I don't want to stay in school for that long. I want a family. I want, a life after college, basically. And so I decided to just stick with engineering. Later on in college, thought about switching over to industrial design because I learned about that and that sounded interesting. But then it would have extended, the time that I spent in college more. And so I just stuck with it and decided, if I can't do design work, then maybe I can just do product development. And then I also managed to figure out how to tie in like biomedical engineering, because that kind of tied into my interest of medicine and like the human body and that sort of thing. And so, I did a biomedical engineering minor too. That didn't really go anywhere, but it's fine. Found a way to keep it interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Sarah, how's that sounding to you?
I mean, this is very informative. Yeah, but I'm not any closer to making a decision yet.
Well, that's why we're only halfway there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Well, yeah, let me ask some questions here. Okay. So, now currently, do you have a partner? Are you married?
Yes, I am married.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about your partner?
Yeah. So he is also an engineer. I met him at one of my past engineering jobs. And I used to joke that he's like the real engineer and I'm just kind of not. So we worked with like robotics and actually did like some of the hardcore mathematical calculations that we learned in school and that sort of thing. But really smart guy. He's very very interested in work, finances, and that sort of thing. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else you would like to know about him.
No, that's okay. What initially drew you to him?
Call it weird, but it was definitely one of those like you meet him and sort of things. Like, I met him at work, and I just knew.
What is it that you liked about him or like about him?
He was just kind of like a little weird, like quirky, but in the same way that I was, and I don't know. I mean, he was really smart. I could tell that, but just like he had this confidence to him too at work that was just very, very appealing. Like, I don't know. We worked on a lot of similar projects, and so I got to work with him pretty closely. And I think in some of the meetings, it was just very very obvious to me, like one, how passionate he was about the work that he was doing, but also like how carefree he could also be too.
Did you start
And
dating at work?
it took a little while because scandal, I was already dating somebody else at the time when I met him. But yeah, it took a little while before we started dating, but then he left shortly after.
So you were dating someone, but you were like, "Oh no, I think this is my husband." That must have been awkward.
Another difficult time in my life,
Yeah.
But an exciting time.
yeah, it worked out, so I can't be upset about that.
Um, okay, and you said you have children or a child. Can you
Yep.
tell us more?
Yeah, I have two kids, a boy and a girl, both toddlers at this point. So they are, oh gosh, they're a handful, but they're also so much fun. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and okay. Let's talk about health. Is there anything that you are willing to share with us about your health and anything that you have gone through? And this can be anything from chronic illness to a car accident to a surgery to a minor rash or anything.
Um, okay. Well, I guess I struggled with weight for most of my life. And there was a time period where I've gone through like cycles of, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. And there's, what else is there? Did find out eventually that I had hypothyroidism, very minor, but still it was like enough to be like, okay, that might be part of the reason why I struggle with weight. But yeah, other than that, there hasn't been anything like huge. I mean, I have like recurring back pain, but I don't know if that's just getting old.
Okay.
So yeah.
Let's see. I might circle back to, I mean,
Well, I
are
have a
you,
follow up if you want
oh,
to
yeah.
take a minute, Sarah.
Yeah,
Do you have
yeah.
any like self care routines that you found especially beneficial, whether it's mentally or physically, for your health?
Yeah, so mental health has been like a huge thing that I've been working through lately, really over like the last, I don't know how many years, but breath work has been like a big, um, a a hugely beneficial practice for me, I'd say, over the last year or so, with in terms of like just getting into a better mental state. So,
Okay. Uh, Weird question. Do you, in the summertime, like to wear shorts and show off your legs, or are you not like that at all?
uh, I wouldn't say it's like a to show off my legs, but more of just for comfort.
Okay. Um, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure how to phrase that question, but
I love some of these questions because they're coming from a very specific, like, astrological place, I'm sure.
have you ever had any issues with your ankles, heels, shins, that area?
Uh, Not really. I mean, I think the worst I could think of is like shin splints when running. Um,
Yeah, that's
or
the kind of thing. Like,
okay,
yeah, I'm interested in anything that seemingly minor. So, what?
okay.
Tell me more about that.
Well, there was a time period where, like in college, where I was training for half marathons, and I would get shin splints there. Nothing major, and nothing where I ever like sought out help from like a doctor or anything like that. But yeah, that was just I'd get that a lot, and then other than that, I do have a scar on my shin from trying to do box jumps and running right into it. So
Okay,
that's
so you were a runner at one point,
uh, jogger, I'll say.
jogger. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you do any other athletic stuff?
I so I did that for a little while, and then I became a gym rat for a little while. I ended up doing bodybuilding for a little while as well. And now I'm kind of just, I don't know,
Okay.
doing it to maintain my overall health.
Okay. I had another question on the tip of my tongue. Your hand.
Oh, go ahead. I can jump in anytime you want to take a minute.
I was going to ask about, are you prone to maybe getting cuts on your hands or anything like that?
Not really, I don't think.
Okay.
Show us your hands. No, I'm kidding. No cuts. All right. Confirmed.
Tennis elbow, anything like that? Elbow issues or?
No, not elbow.
Okay. What about lung irritations?
I don't think so. I mean, I think my lungs have been fairly healthy.
Okay. Stomach irritations?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I have a connection to the lungs, Sarah. Breath work is very important to her and has helped her out physically and mentally.
Yeah, that's a great observation, Scott.
Thank you. Thank you.
Astrologer Scott. I'm going to start calling you Astrologer Scott.
I mean, I got the record for it.
Okay. Wait, did you have a question or did you already ask it?
Oh, anytime you need a minute, I can have a question. I was kind of curious about spirituality and religion. Can you talk about, has that been a major part of your life? And how do you feel about it overall?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I grew up Muslim. My parents were, I would say, fairly religious, and we would go, part of a smaller sect of Islam, but we would go to services like every single Friday growing up. And my mom both my parents, honestly, were really involved in our religious community, and my mom even being one of the leaders, I guess, within it for a time period. And so that was a major part, I guess, of my routine or upbringing. When I was older, when I got into college, I started to break away from it, kind of saw some of the things that I didn't really like or agree with, and went through a time period where I was just questioning, what religion is right for me, and none of it really felt right. I thought about converting to Judaism for a while because I was dating a Jewish guy and we thought we were going to get married, that sort of thing. And then later on, I kind of just let it be for a while, I guess. And then had call it a spiritual awakening a few years ago. And now I guess I would just consider myself spiritual.
Because you mentioned dating a Jewish man, do you and your husband share the same heritage, or are they different?
Yep, different.
Okay. Do you often date people, or had you dated people from different backgrounds and stuff? Was that a theme? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of switching gears here. Can you tell us some movies or TVs, shows or books that interest you or that you enjoy?
That's a good question.
Even if you don't know now, at any point in your life.
Okay. I don't know. I try not to watch a lot of TV just because when I do, I get sucked in and it's nothing else exists. And so I try to avoid it. But, there were, I guess if I were to name TV shows that I do sometimes watch and enjoy, it would be Great British Baking Show or Bridgerton or I don't know, some of the stuff that my kids watch, honestly, like Bluey and that sort of thing. But honestly, I could sit and watch anything. But books, that one's tricky just because I feel I don't finish books. I'll get really into something and then, get sidetracked and not be able to finish it. So
maybe let me ask it differently. What genres of media are you drawn to or have always been drawn to?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I guess I would say like historical fictions are are interesting to me. The nonfiction as well, memoirs, and yeah, I don't know.
Do you like horror?
No. I when I was a kid, I would watch scary movies with like everyone, and it just like I could never get the images out of my mind, and so that was like for a while I just stopped watching horror movies.
Okay. Um, what about romance?
I do enjoy the romance ones.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned Great British Baking Show. So you like cooking shows and things like that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. How about Halloween? Have you ever gotten into Halloween, and if so, what did you dress up as?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think Halloween is probably one of my favorite holidays, to be
Oh,
honest. I think I don't know. I think it's just fun to dress up. I like the creative part of it, where you just kind of get to choose something and put some effort into it. And I think this past Halloween, my son was really into like different monsters and things like that. He was a vampire, and so I dressed up as a mummy, um, mummy mommy, and yeah, I don't know. I
what
can't.
if
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm assuming maybe did you celebrate Halloween growing up, or did that clash with being Muslim or no? Okay, okay. So can you tell me what costumes you did when you were growing up?
Um, Interestingly enough, I don't really remember a ton of my costumes from growing up. The only one I remember is when I dressed up as a dinosaur. And
Oh, which
real,
one?
I don't really remember. I think it kind of looked like Barney, to be honest. But
I feel like a T-Rex is the only one a human can really pull off.
yeah, yeah,
The rest of them would be uncomfortable. Maybe a pterodactyl.
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
not a pterodactyl. But yeah, I just remember that one because there was like a kid that I opened the door to trick or treaters or something, and I was wearing the costume, and they're like, "Are you a boy?" And that really hurt my feelings. But
Oh. Um, yeah. When you were growing up, you said you were a bookworm. So what kind of books did you read then?
mm, I liked mysteries. I remember. I don't remember like when I was really young. Um, I spent a lot of time in the library when I was a younger kid, but I do remember like in high school I really liked mysteries like Agatha Christie. Um, but yeah, I can't tell you much more than that, to be honest.
Okay. So switching over to talking about feelings,
Mhm.
how are you at handling your emotions? What's your emotional world like?
Mm, uh, it's interesting because I would say like earlier on in my life, I would say that I was not super emotional. But recently, or like over the last several years, I would say I'm definitely a lot more open to my emotions, and being more expressive with it, just to myself, even, where and they can be pretty strong. It I've had some outbursts where I'm just like, oh, okay, I need to tone that down a bit.
So do you think that because you said before you weren't as emotional, do you think it's just that you were ignoring your emotions or um and now I mean, I'm just trying to piece together why that changed.
Um, yeah, I think I probably suppressing it, to be honest. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. What gets you angry? What makes you have outbursts?
Usually when it's a lot of stress, like it's not like one little thing that will set me off. It's the culmination of a lot of things that ultimately like one thing will set it off, and so, yeah, I've been working on managing my emotions a lot more over the last few years, especially as I kind of started to unpack a lot of that stuff. And then there's exercise has been like a big part of that too, because if I don't have some sort of physical outlet either, then that makes a little harder too.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side of that, what brings you comfort?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I would say like feeling like I'm in a safe place with someone who I feel safe around. There's, I don't know, that moment where like you're with somebody that you can just kind of like melt with, that sort of thing, I guess.
Is that, do you associate that with home necessarily? Is there a connection with in addition to the person, is there a certain type of place?
Outdoors, nature, for sure. Yeah, there was a time period where I got really into hiking, and I would just go on solo hikes and be out in nature, and that was, it was more of a reset, I think, than like comfort, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sorry. I'm still thinking about the emotional side. So sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to formulate my questions. Are you, or have you ever been someone who worries about have being, is it hard for you to cry in front of other people? Do you feel embarrassed about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why? I mean, have you ever reflected on like why that's embarrassing?
Oh yeah. That is definitely something from growing up, where, it was, I think it took me a while to realize, I guess, where that came from, but it's just more of like, you never really got anything out of crying, or you were just told to stop crying, basically. And so, it kind of felt like it was just never okay to do that.
Okay. How is your relationship with your parents now?
I think it's okay. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say compared to like what it's like compared to other people, I guess. But I mean, we get along. I mean, I'm staying with them for a little while right now with all the life transitions that I'm going through. But there's definitely a little bit of strain when it comes to my relationship with my mom.
Only what you feel like sharing. You don't have to go into anything you don't
Okay.
feel like.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Scott, if you have any questions, I'm just trying to formulate. So I have maybe a couple more questions, but
I want to ask about this personal quote or philosophy or mantra. Life is only as good as the memories you make. Can you kind of expand on that? Where's that coming from?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember when I picked up that quote, but it just like really stuck with me when I got it. And for me, I think I tend to gain more when I experience things. Like, I'm the type of person that you can't just tell me like what something's like. I have to actually go out and experience it in order for it to like really stick. And so I don't know. I mean, experiences have definitely become a lot more important to me. So much so that I guess like even my husband and I, we don't really exchange gifts anymore. For a while, we were just going on trips together for our birthdays and or holidays and things like that, just to get out and experience more of the world.
Is that from a place of curiosity? You want to like figure out what's it like over there, or maybe the motivation behind the desire to travel?
Yeah, I think it probably is curiosity driven. I think there's something different about like seeing things with your own eyes, or like just not really knowing what else is out there unless you go out and experience it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What was, a favorite place or two that you've traveled to, and maybe what was it about those places that really made you enjoy them?
Yeah. So the first one that comes to mind is Alaska. I went on an Alaskan cruise with my husband. We ended up going out to Mendenhall Glacier, canoed out there, and then we're hiking up around the glacier itself. And we had the opportunity to walk through an ice cave, which was absolutely mind-blowing because you're basically just surrounded by this glacier. It's all ice, and it's like the most beautiful shade of blue you could have ever imagined. And the walls are so smooth, and like the water dripping and everything, and it's just this surreal experience that you've never, I don't know, like you don't see that on a day-to-day basis. You don't get to go walk through an ice cave, let alone like a natural thing that just kind of exists out there. And so that was just like, that was one of the coolest experiences, no pun intended. And then the other one was Great Wall of China. I did a study abroad in China in college. And there were, I think, when you look at pictures of the Great Wall, you just see like the nice, pretty, updated bits that are, very even going around the mountain. But the areas that we were like climbing through were just absolutely insane. Like I was not fit then. And so trying to climb almost like these vertical steps to going up into the mountains and going all around and crawling around like fallen walls and things that like were part of history, things that like I could have only dreamed of when I learned about it in third grade. It's just like it took my breath away. And it's so cool to be able to experience all these different things that are out there that you don't see on a day-to-day basis. You don't get to appreciate from just like a picture in a book or online. And just being there and seeing everything is, I think, the coolest part.
Do you like meeting the locals too? Do you like getting involved in the local culture, or talking to people from a different background, or, other locations that you never would have seen around home?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think I struggle with that a little bit, just in terms of like going out there and trying to meet them. And I know there are people out there that are like, hey, let's talk or whatever, or like, get involved immediately. But if I've given the opportunity to, where, it's, there's somebody who's part of the group, or there is somebody that I can like talk to on a one-on-one basis without being like really weird. I do really enjoy that.
Do you speak any other languages?
I've tried to learn several.
But you wouldn't put any on a resume.
No, absolutely not.
How's it going, Sarah?
Good. Okay. So I do have a couple of more questions. So I would say over the last 12 months, have you have you done anything? I don't know. You alluded to some sort of like transitions you're going through. Is there anything you can tell us about that or share about that, or do you just want to? Okay.
Yeah. So last 12 months have been a bit of a whirlwind. So I left my corporate job. I kind of focused really for a long time on my own business, as well as doing the stay-at-home mom thing, and kind of ended up stepping away from the business for a while, as I try to figure out, how to actually make everything work, or what I actually really wanted to do. And then my my husband got a new job, which is why we're relocating. And so, yeah, it's since then it's kind of just been go, go, go of trying to get everything ready to make its big move.
Are you thinking, like, over the last 12 months, have you been contemplating, like, trying to do self-searching, or like have you had confusion around who you are, or
Yeah, I would say that's a in some ways, yes. I think there's still this part of me that is like, do I focus more on, the stay-at-home mom role, which is a lot in and of itself, but or do I try to focus on, building out this business that I had started to do? I also started a podcast too, so there's that. And I'm trying to decide whether or not to continue.
That's the life of a podcaster.
What
we
is
make another episode?
what is the topic? Is it astrology?
It's kind of all over the place. It started out, it was called Avoiding Average. And it was basically, I wanted to interview other people and kind of see how, they were shaping their own lives outside of the normal lifestyle, and so got to interview a ton of really great people, got to meet a lot of different people, and it was really interesting. And I started to do like some solo episodes and kind of dabbled in that for a little bit, but yeah, it's just been all over the place.
What made you want to interview other people?
I don't know. Curiosity, I guess. I don't know. There's, I think there are a lot of people out there doing really cool things that are not, you know, within the normal scope of what society expects you to do, I guess. And so I kind of just wanted to see what else was out there, what people were doing, and get a better sense of that. I think with like my business, with the coaching business and stuff, it was very much focused for a little while on finding what you're passionate about and trying to do more of that, and yeah, I mean, it just is I guess, discovery tool, but also kind of cool to be able to share other people's stories as well.
Mm. And what are you passionate about? I mean, I know you shared a lot about your hobbies and different things, but what are you most passionate about?
Oh, that is a very good question. I don't know if I could pinpoint it down to like one thing. It's living life to its fullest, I guess.
Okay. I mean, are there any? I mean, I assume you're passionate about astrology. What is it? Maybe if I say, like, what do you love to talk about? What can't you shut up about?
Mm, I don't know. I mean, I could talk about astrology for sure, but I think I guess it depends on the phase of life I'm in.
Okay.
Because when I was in my bodybuilding era, it was like all things health and nutrition and exercise and bodybuilding and muscles and things like that. Um, and then when I was in my spiritual awakening phase, it was a lot of like spiritual growth, development, like all these different, I mean, that's a whole can of worms in itself. And astrology too now. And so, yeah, I don't
So
know.
you reinvent yourself a lot, it sounds like.
Probably, yeah.
One other question. This is random, but were you sick a lot as a kid or no?
Not that I can remember. There were There were a couple instances that like stick out in my memory. One of them was like when I was 5 years old and I had the chicken pox when we were supposed to go to Disney World, and that was devastating. But but then there was when I was in high school, I had like an infection in my face, and that was kind of rough. I was in the hospital for like a week or something on super heavy antibiotics to get rid of it, and was on it for a little while longer. But
What, do you know what that was? You said your face?
yeah, I have no idea.
I don't. It was like a rash or something?
It was like a bacterial infection or something where my entire, like, I don't remember which side of my face it was, but it like swole up completely. And yeah, even the doctors weren't really sure what it was, but yeah.
Okay.
Just put on heavy dose of antibiotics and it went away.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Have I stumped you guys?
No, I'm just trying to think. Like, I feel like there's a few more questions I want to ask, but I can't think of them, so I'm not gonna drag it out any longer. Are you okay? This will be my last one. Do you like to follow the rules, or are you a little bit like, I don't like people telling me what to do?
A little bit of both. I will follow the rules if they make sense to me, but if they don't, then I have a harder time.
Okay. But you're not like difficult just to be difficult.
I probably am sometimes.
Oh, okay.
We're being honest here. I probably am sometimes, but yeah, for the most part, I try not to be.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, Scott?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I might be stumped too, but we'll see. This is the part where we're gonna put you in the waiting room, then we're gonna converse amongst ourselves, make our choices known, and then we'll bring you back in and see if we were right.
Okay.
So we'll see you back here shortly.
All right.
Okay, Sarah.
Yes, Scotty.
Is this a tough one?
You know what? It kind of is, because I will admit I switched halfway through. Because there were some things that she was saying, and I was like, I felt like it was more obvious in one chart, and then I was like, well, actually, definitely when she was talking about her mom and things like that, that's where I started to make a switch. Yeah. But this was definitely not one that I solved thinking about the sun signs as much. Maybe a little bit. A little bit. There are a couple of, this is why I'm worried. The health stuff does not fit as neatly into the guess I'm making, and that worries me a little bit. Because in last season, the health stuff always seemed to line up with the correct answer. And I'm a little worried. This is where I'm a little worried. I'm going with what makes sense to me, but she was talking about hyperthyroid, and that was swaying me in the other direction. So now I'm a little worried, but
hey, don't worry, because I'm worried too.
Okay, good.
This is where we find ourselves. And I didn't feel confident last week, and I was wrong. And I by no means feel confident this week.
Okay.
Wait, let me take a look at one thing really quickly. Yeah. I don't know, because she was talking about there's different things in both. Like Gemini, she was talkative. She'll like talk to people, but not a big social group. Capricorn, she started her own business doing coaching, but still, that's a specific kind of business. It's not like you're like a CEO. Then you have your Pisces, where she's interested in religions enough that she's like researching different ones. Taurus, she was like running away from Taurus almost, but I don't know. how you make
Well,
that moon work. But then Sagittarius, she does love to travel. But I can make the case for both of these.
yeah. The hypothyroid, that's definitely can relate to.
Well, don't tell me. Don't tell me the further down the chart stuff, because I'm not supposed to be influenced at all.
All right.
I did already write. Well, I did already write mine down. I'm going to stick with it.
Okay. I'm going to stick with mine too, even though I'm a little worried. But yeah, I was a little split with this one. So.
All right. Well, right there with you, Sarah.
Okay.
Team Skeptic is right there with you. On 3, let's say it and show which one we're choosing between the Pisces and the Gemini.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Gemini.
Pisces. All right. Great.
Yeah, we voted for the one that we were identifying with at the beginning, aren't we?
Oh, right. We should just do that every time. That's easy.
I would definitely, I was kind of Team Pisces in the beginning, but halfway through I switched to Team Gemini.
The thing that kept pulling me towards Gemini is I felt like, from a skeptical perspective, I feel like she naturally wasn't very talkative. Like, through her life, she was considered the quiet kid. But then, obviously, recently, or at some point, she got into astrology, and I wonder if then she fills out the survey and is like, "Oh yeah, at parties I'm outgoing." If that's part of where you think of yourself kind of in a different light. And that may point towards the Gemini sun. But
remember I said this Gemini one is a kind of awkward mix of signs. It's like Gemini likes to talk and communicate, but Capricorn and Scorpio are a little bit more prone to solitude. Mm-hmm. So that can make for kind of an awkward. The only thing that's getting me is the hypothyroid thing, because that is definitely typically like a Taurus thing, and the other one has a Taurus 6th house moon.
Let's just trade, Sarah, because I don't believe at all in medical astrology, so I almost want to be on the other side of the hypothyroid.
But the stuff when she was talking about how she was kind of embarrassed to cry in front of other people and issues with her mom, that to me is Scorpio moon territory. Now, I was asked her if she was into horror, and she said no, but this Scorpio Gemini chart has Neptune rising, and Neptune makes someone very sensitive. It can make them a little bit unsure of like who they are, or I don't want to say, there seemed to be a little bit of like, she's trying to figure herself out kind of thing. So, and the Gemini chart lacks fire, and fire gives people a lot of passion and enthusiasm and excitement and a lot of energy. And I felt like she was a little bit more, calm and peaceful, which is definitely a Taurus moon.
There we go. Pisces. I'm back on board.
I know.
Great.
So I'm like, I am a little bit split this time.
Well,
but I voted Gemini, so I'm going to stick to it.
Fine. Then I have to stick with Pisces. All right. We will find out if we're right. Make your selections at home, because we're going to find out right after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are joined again by Susan, and Sarah and I had a chance to talk about all the information that we have to work with, and we are split. We've chosen a different chart each. So one of us is going to be right, one of us is going to be wrong.
And I'm not feeling super confident
No,
today.
neither of us are feeling
I'll just
super
say
confident.
it because there's like two big pieces of evidence that are one's in one chart, one's in the other, and I'm a little torn right now.
Well, luckily we have somebody here who knows the answer, and they're going to put this issue to rest.
Yeah.
So for this little test, we were choosing between a Pisces and a Gemini. Hopefully one of those signs is you. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll be asking for myself. So if I'm wrong, Sarah's going to be super excited over there. Susan, are you a Pisces?
I am not.
Oh,
I'm
no.
a Gemini.
Medical astrology has let me down.
We will explore that later.
We're going to get into all of these details on what led Sarah in the right direction, me in the wrong direction, and how much, Susan, you identify with your chart in the debrief episode, which is free for everybody in the Patreon. In the meantime, Susan, is there anything you want to share or places you want to send to the audience? If you have anything you wanted to plug, let us know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're interested in checking out my site, I have avoidingaverage.com. I think I linked my podcast to that too, if you're interested at all. But other than that, yeah, I'm just hanging out, trying to take care of the toddlers.
Avoiding average, I do think that's a very Capricorn rising name. So.
There we go. Now the confidence is setting in.
Well, now that you say it back, that makes sense to me.
Let's see. I associate a Capricorn podcast would be like Making Money 101. One foot in front of the other. How to do it brick by brick. Okay, that's it, everyone. Let us know what you thought by commenting on whatever platform you follow us on. Links to our accounts are in the show notes. As always, thanks to Mike, our IT guy, and his random chartifier thingy, even if it threw us off this time, threw me off. If you like the show and want to support it, you can visit patreon.com/AstroDetectives, where this conversation continues on the free Patreon-only debrief. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform or YouTube so you don't miss the next episode. Rate and review and tell your friends. And until next time, this case is closed.